Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we got an exciting order flow video coming up. I know this is one of the most popular topics on the channel, so I want to just gonna go over a couple of examples of how you can use the footprint charts in order to have confirmation of important support and resistance areas on your chart, and then that can help you to execute better. Okay, before we dive in, as always, make sure to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and here we're going to be using Sierra Chart for this video, since that's the main platform I use for day trading futures markets. But obviously any platform you use with order flow tools is going to work well. So I'm going to be focusing on the action we had last Thursday, September 12th. If I go into a 1 hour chart, you know that this day we had it right here. We started off in Asia, slightly going up, and then we came up into this level, which was 55.71 area, which, as you can see, first of all, is the top edge of a high volume node, and it was a very important support level in the past. And now you can see it's been giving resistance for many hours throughout the Europe session overnight, and then into the New York Open, before we finally had some there was some economic news releases, and then we had the push up. You can also notice we had the 50 moving average around that area as well. And then we're gonna look up into this area as well, into the 56.0825, which also you can see was a very significant area that we had a lot of very precise touches in the past. So I'm going to be showing you a tick chart. This is a 3000 tick chart, which is what I like to use to day trade the ES market. So first, we're going to focus on this yellow area over here. So I showed you this right here. This is the 55.71 area level. And you can see on the overnight, we had just very strong resistance in this area. This was opening into the late hours of Asia, and then right into the Europe Open around 3 a.m. Obviously, if you know, for this, I wouldn't use a 3000 tick to trade overnight because the volume is so much lower. I would usually I'll just use like a 5-minute chart if I'm trading the overnight hours. But leading into the regular market hours open, I like tick charts just because of how much more clear the action is, especially in high volatility. But we can see market opened. We drifted up into this bear flag here, into the low valley area low from the overnight. We dropped, and then we came right back up into this level again. So now we're gonna drill into the footprint and see how you could see the confirmation based on order flow of the significance of this level. So if we go into a tick footprint, this is again 3000 tick ES. This footprint chart, I have it set as volume on the left, delta on the right. On top is delta, on bottom is volume overlays. And then here, I'm just gonna put the settings because everyone always asks me. So this is what I have. Is just column 1 based on actual volume, column 2 as bid difference profile. So basically just delta. And then for the coloring, I have it just the range coloring method based on volume totals. And you can see here I have purple highlights for 750 contracts or more, and orange highlights for 1,000 contracts or more. Usually any platform is going to give you an ability to make some kind of highlight at any threshold, whether you have a bid or ask footprint or anything like that. Okay, but then you can see how when we came up here, let me just take the yellow off. When we came up here, again, this is the level we were talking about, and you can see how we start getting this. A bunch of clusters of purple and orange in this case. This means there's big volumes coming in. Remember, we're looking at executions on the footprint. These are executed market orders to buy or sell that went in the book. So if we have big volumes of buying delta, that means there's more aggressive buying, and red, more aggressive selling. And you can see right here how as soon as we come up into this level, we start slamming into big volumes here with a lot of buying. Look at the right side. This is all buying on the right side, and yet market is not able to push up further. If we go into the ticks, into the cumulative volume delta here as well, on the bottom, you can see how we had just a very slight slope here, but look at how much higher this is pushing the aggressive cumulative buying on the delta, and yet we're just making a slider higher high. So basically high volumes confirm important levels, because that means there's big passive limit buyers or sellers that are absorbing all this aggressiveness on these levels. Now, that doesn't mean that this is instantly gonna reverse, because we could have a break and then just a retest and continuation, but these areas are very important to you to highlight. So what I recommend is, when you identify these areas, you know that in the future, you want to keep these zones in mind when price revisits them. And you can actually see here, this was an amazing signal to sell, where we had a quick break above these levels, and then we had a big buying delta, lots of aggressive buying, and yet we printed a bearish candle. And again, this is the reason I like tick charts, just because they give so much detail. Like I can go, this is a minute footprint chart. This is a 1 minute footprint of the same area we're looking at. And you can see we can identify again the purple and orange highlights. And then right here, huge delta on this 1 minute candle, huge buying here going nowhere, but we still ended up printing a green candle, and then we had this humongous drop on the next 1 minute candle. Whereas if we look at it on the footprint, you can see that it's broken up into a lot more segments with the tick charts. So that's why tick charts always give me a lot more detail. And as always, all the strategies you can learn a lot more in depth also in the Orderflow course as well. And then we're going to look at the next one, which is up here. After we had this breakout, after the lunch hour, we had this big move up. And you can see cumulative delta as well was right in sync with prices until we come up into the next area right here, which if we look to the left, support broken, and now we're coming back to test the underside of this area. You can see cuts in the volume profile as well. So going into the tick chart, we had this double top, which ended up being the high for the session before we had this big drop off here and then we just shifted structure and we pretty much came back into this untested highs that we had on this level. So let's go into the footprint and look what happened inside here. Okay, so moving up here, and you can see all through this uptrend that we had, there is some areas where we have big volumes, but we don't really get any big clear reversal signal, and you can see price is just consistently just making higher lows. We're not really breaking any structure down, and then we get to this point. This is the level that I was talking about, but you can see we didn't actually touch it completely, but as I showed you, I mean, it's really just a whole zone. Right here you can see pretty much from this level down into like here, this whole zone of resistance is where we came up on this. So then we go back here, and again, remember, we've been making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs consistently. We're getting big volumes, but you can see they're just propulsions to the upside until we have, in this case, a clear shift. We had this low that is clearly broken down now over here. And on the top here, you can see the cluster, and let's just extend it here. We came up here, not only that, but you can see these little balls here. This is the large trade indicator. So this means this is from trading, from Sierra chart. It's an indicator that shows where large executions come through, and you can see there was two big trades for 101 and 100 contracts trying to go through to push this even higher. No follow through. We're getting big aggressive buying near the tops as well. Lots of highlights here, and then we have this move down, breaking below this low, and this is where things starts to shift. And this is why I told you it's important to extend these areas, because when price goes back in there, this is where we can see a confirmation. And you can see again here, price comes back, big aggressive orders to come to buy, and then we're getting very large volumes coming in right at this area. So this is again confirmation of a big important level. And then you can see after that, this marked off the double top. Eventually it came down, we broke these lows, and then we had a very quick follow through to the downside, which you can see over here. You can also see cumulative delta bearish divergence, double top here, and yet cumulative delta is failing to make a higher high. Okay, so that is a big bearish signal as well. And then, you know, you have this trend line also, which you could have played off the break of this trend line, etc. Okay, but in a nutshell, this is just to show you how, when you're looking at a footprint, and again, it doesn't matter if it's a bid by ask, volume, total, delta, etc. As soon as you start seeing clusters of high volumes, that is confirmation that we are approaching important levels of interest where there's large passive limit orders absorbing all that buying or selling. And like you can see here, we had support, aggressive buying being absorbed, but then once we break through the area, we retest those high volume zones again from the upside, and then in this case we're in a bullish trend and we just push on from there. Okay, So that's pretty much it for the video. Hope this has been useful. And again, if you want to learn a lot more about this, check out all my trading courses through the link below. And also check out all my other order flow videos that I have here for free on my YouTube channel. And I will be seeing you in the next video. Okay? Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.